Are you a business owner who wants to generate more income? Stay tuned to learn a 3-card spread that can help you figure out how. Hi everybody, I'm Sue Ellen Clayton. Welcome to my channel where we're learning how to read tarot 1 card at a time. In today's reading, we'll be using a 3-card spread to help a business owner enhance her profitability. I will be using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot, and there's a link below. This question was posted anonymously online by someone who I will call Jillian. Her question was, how can I make more money in my business? She didn't share any other details about what type of business she was running. Jillian pulled 3 cards. She didn't mention using a spread, however, I will be using the Challenge, Lesson, Next Step spread. Card number 1 looks at the challenges that Jillian faces in making more money. Jillian drew the Hierophant. Card number 2 looks at the lessons that Jillian needs to learn. Jillian drew the 6 of Swords. Card number 3 looks at the next steps to increase income. Jillian drew the Ace of Swords. Let's begin by looking at my first impressions. I'll be honest, nothing really stuck out in terms of commonalities between the cards. We have 1 major arcana card and 2 minor arcana cards, which are both swords. Swords are about thoughts, ideas, and communications, so I think that is the crux of Jillian's problem. If we had wands, I would say she was lacking action. If we had cups, I would say that she needed more emotional connection. And if we had pentacles, I'd guess that she needed more cash or to do a better job with manufacturing her product. So right off the bat, I'd say that she needs to do some thinking. We have 3 people in both of the outside cards, with 1 definitely being dominant. The Hierophant holds a cross in his left hand. The Ace of Swords is being held in the right hand, and the oarsman is holding the oar in both hands. Let's look at each card individually. Card number 1, the Hierophant, looks at the challenge that Jillian faces in making more money. The Hierophant is a male religious figure who is roughly equivalent to the Pope in the Catholic Church. He is very concerned with the rules and traditions of formal religion. The Hierophant can also represent a teacher, mentor, or spiritual advisor. They are a person who is proficient in rules, structures, laws, boundaries, and traditional values. A modern-day example might be the president of a homeowners association. They have an encyclopedic knowledge of the allowable paint colors for painting your house, the precise hour that you can put out your trash, and the number of cars that can park overnight in your driveway. There's no wiggle room on these rules. If you paint your house an unapproved shade of beige, they'll make you repaint it. The Hierophant is standing on a red pedestal with yellow keys at the front. This signifies that the Hierophant, like Jesus, has the keys to heaven. They are the all-knowing authority figure. In front of him, we see 2 disciples or monks. They represent an attentive audience. The message for Jillian is that, to make more money, she needs to find an advisor and follow the rules. Of course, the question becomes exactly which advisor does she follow? There are so many business gurus out there to choose from, and not all of them might be right for her. I can give an example from my own life. I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel, and it's been challenging. Reading tarot cards is not the most popular subject on YouTube. I've taken a few classes from people who are upselling an expensive coaching program. It's always appealing because their marketing is amazing, and they show people with a tremendous growth in views and subscribers, often due to a few viral videos. But these classes are designed for people who are using YouTube to market their business, so they are using their websites and social media accounts to help grow their YouTube channel. I've been there, done that with other businesses, and don't want the stress of managing a website and social media accounts. Their strategies are good, but they won't work for me. The point is that Jillian may be trying to follow advice that is not applicable for her business, and to increase her income, she might need to find a different Hierophant. I do think that the Hierophant indicates that Jillian needs to create structures and systems. The Hierophant is all about following the rules. Jillian needs to create procedures so that she's not reinventing the wheel every time she does things. The HOA we talked about earlier doesn't have homeowners submit paint chips before they paint their home and have the HOA vote on whether or not they would fit into the neighborhood. Nope, they have a half dozen pre-approved paint colors. This saves both the resident and the HOA board a lot of time. As an aside, that's one of the reasons that franchises are so successful. I won't say that McDonald's is the height of cuisine, but every time you go there, you know that your Big Mac and fries are going to taste the same, whether you're in Times Square in New York City, a tiny town in Ohio, or at an international airport. The problem that most business owners face is that they've come out of a corporate environment. They're familiar with an employer's standard operating procedures. They are bored doing things a specific way, and they don't want people telling them what to do. The other message of the Hierophant is that Jillian has to act like she is in charge, because she is. She has to take ownership of the fact that she is the boss. She needs to claim her authority and make sure that her employees follow directions. We've laid out several challenges that Jillian has to deal with. These include finding an appropriate advisor, creating a structure so that things are done efficiently and consistently, and embracing her authority and acting like a boss. Card number 2, the Six of Swords, looks at the lesson that Jillian needs to learn. I think the overall message is that it's time for Jillian to make some changes. First, let's talk about the people in the boat. On the boat, we have the ferryman and 2 passengers, a child and a shrouded person who we assume is the mother. The ferryman would have been paid for his services, so he isn't emotionally invested in the journey, but he is setting the direction. In a business sense, this might be a key employee or her accountant. They are doing the work and representing masculine, action-oriented energy. The woman is looking inward and represents feminine, intuitive energy. Between the ferryman and the woman, the energy is balanced. The child represents our inner child. So between the 3 figures, we have masculine, feminine, and childlike energy represented. I think that Jillian must learn how to balance these energies because they all have an impact on how she's running her business. Is she letting someone else set the direction of her business while she sits passively by? Is this person even taking the right actions? Is she being too emotional? Or is she letting issues from her childhood hold her back? All 3 figures have their backs to us. This indicates that Jillian needs to leave the past behind and move forward in a different direction. I think that Jillian is represented by the woman who's wearing the dull orange cloak. This shows a lack of energy. The fact that her head is covered and downward indicates that she is lost in her thoughts. Her feet are touching the swords, and if she looks up, she will be reminded of her problems. Jillian is depressed, and she needs to get out of this dark place. Jillian needs to figure out a way to put herself in a better mindset. The child is sitting very close to Jillian, but she's not giving him any attention. This represents that Jillian needs to look at some of her childhood beliefs or issues that might be holding her back. I can give an example from my own life. I grew up in Canada in a family of modest means. My mother was a homemaker and I had 3 siblings, and until we added an addition, we lived in a 3-bedroom bungalow with 1 bathroom. My dad frequently said, "There will always be people who have more money than we do." As an adult, I can say that this is a true and realistic statement, but it also harmed me as a business owner because deep down, I felt like I could never be successful. So that's the kind of stuff that Jillian needs to address. On the right side of the boat, we see choppy waters. On the left side, the waters are calm. This shows that Jillian needs to let things go and learn how to move to a calmer, more stable place in her business. We talked about Jillian's need to let go of her old beliefs. I think the other thing that she needs to leave behind are her current advisors. It's important for Jillian to recognize that her advisors are running businesses too. I think most of them want to help, but they also have their own agenda. Let's say that she's paying someone to look after her social media, and they're doing lots and lots of posts on Facebook and Instagram. We talked earlier about how Jillian needs to look at the facts. This person may be clocking in lots of hours. However, she needs to figure out if they are posting to the right place or if their actions are translating into sales. Another example might be that Jillian hired a bookkeeper who set up an incredibly sophisticated accounting system. In theory, that's a good idea, but maybe it's so complicated that Jillian doesn't know how to use it. The bookkeeper knows that Jillian will be lost without her, yet this is likely someone that Jillian should consider leaving behind. In summary, in order to make more money, Jillian needs to move forward and leave things that aren't working behind her. These include examining her personal beliefs and also looking critically at everyone who is involved in her business. You've made it this far in the video, and I wanted to stop and ask for a favor if you're not already a subscriber, and that is to please hit the subscribe button. It's free for you, and it will also help me to grow this channel. Plus, it means that you won't miss anything. Thanks so much, and if you're already a subscriber, I truly appreciate your ongoing support. Now let's get back to the video. Card number 3, the Ace of Swords, looks at the next steps Jillian needs to take to increase her income. The Ace of Swords shows us that Spirit is giving Jillian the gift of clear, logical thought. It is about being objective and seeking the truth. This is not the time for Jillian to make decisions based on her gut feelings. She needs to seek the facts. For instance, instead of believing that item A is her best-selling product and making decisions accordingly, she needs to look at her accounting system and verify that this is true. The Ace of Swords is about cutting and can indicate things that Jillian needs to cut out of her business or her life in order to increase her income. We talked about some of the people and beliefs she could leave behind in the previous card. I think she's relying on the help of professionals who are giving her bad advice, and she needs to cut these people out of her business and look for new advisors. Jillian also needs to look logically at her business and consider cutting products and services that are not profitable. I'm a big fan of the TV show Restaurant Impossible, where Chef Robert Irvine visits a failing restaurant. One of the first things he does is look at the menu, which is often huge, and calculate the cost of each menu item. The restaurant owners are often shocked that they're selling a dish for less money than it costs to make it, or that they have something on the menu that they think is a bestseller, yet they only sell a few of those dishes a month. Another thing that Jillian can cut out are expenses that aren't contributing to her income. I can also speak to this as a business owner. People tell you that you need to spend money to make money, but then you end up with a whole bunch of apps and programs and consultants that sound good, but aren't contributing to the bottom line. There might also be personal things that Jillian could cut out of her life. Perhaps she spends too much time on social media or watching sports, and she could reinvest this time into building her business. Jillian might also need to cut, or at least change, some personal relationships. For instance, her best friend since the 2nd grade keeps telling Jillian that she doesn't have an aptitude for numbers and reminding her that she barely passed high school math. That is not helpful. If they're going to stay friends, Jillian needs to set some boundaries. The Ace of Swords can also symbolize new ideas that are being given to you by Spirit. Jillian needs to pay attention to these. She might be able to develop these ideas and increase her income. The final message from the Ace of Swords is about communication. Jillian needs to focus on communicating information about her business. This might be through advertising, marketing, public relations, or maybe creating a podcast or YouTube channel. The right hand is the hand of giving, so I think that Jillian should be creating these herself and using her voice to sell her product. So the next steps for Jillian are to cut out people, products, services, or expenses that are not helping increase her income. She should also focus on promoting her business, as well as pay attention to new ideas that may be an additional source of revenue. So let's summarize. This reading answered Jillian's question about how she can make more money in her business. Card number 1, the Hierophant, looks at the challenge that Jillian faces in making more money. These include finding an appropriate advisor, creating a structure so that things are done efficiently and consistently, and embracing her authority and acting like a boss. Card number 2, the 6 of Swords, looks at the lesson that Jillian needs to learn so that she can move on from her past and make changes. The first thing is that she has to take responsibility for the direction of her business and look at the facts. Then she needs to let go of old beliefs that are not helping her and reevaluate the employees and advisors who are not contributing to the bottom line. Card number 3, the Ace of Swords, looks at the next steps Jillian needs to take to increase her income. She needs to continue looking at the facts and cut out people, products, services, and expenses that are not helping to increase her income. She should also focus on promoting her business as well as pay attention to new ideas that may be an additional source of revenue. I hope that this video gave you some ideas that you can apply to your tarot practice. Please leave a comment if you'd like to share what you learned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.